Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And thank you so much for being here for this Money Making Monday live stream. Now, what do we have to talk about? What assets to buy in 2025? You gotta buy assets, not liabilities. Once again, this is the motto for 2025. So I want to thank everybody for being here. And please let me know if you're in the house. I know we're way late for this money making Monday, but taxes are due, ladies and gentlemen. You know how that goes. Last minute adjustments, things have to be done. So make sure you handle those and make sure you stay tuned here because assets in 2025 could actually change your future. And welcome. Stop struggling now, gear. Where's the emerging millionaires at? Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you so much for being here. And please share the videos because you never know who's out here needing some information. Just a little bit of help will do you. So, what can I tell you? We are running way late today, but I still come for the show. It goes on. So, thank you. I apologize for being late, but it's been a little change of scenery and lifestyle since I've been over here back in Cali in a new surrounding. So once again, I'm sorry I'm late. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you smash that like button so the YouTube guys know that we have a few people in the house. Now, what else is going to happen? Well, economic chaos. Money making Mondays. This means just so it's for clear and present dangers ahead. Generally, when the world is stable, economies flourish. When the world has chaos, economies have chaos. If you are an investor, an entrepreneur, you want stability. You don't want to wake up every day and find out, or every week, or every 2 weeks, to find out what was told a week or two, a month ago, no longer matters. You need stability from all fronts. So, what's the good news? The good news is whenever there's volatility, there's money to be made. Blood is in the streets temporarily, money to be made. Blood is in the streets just for an hour, there's money to be made. That instability causes people to, run to safety. What does that mean? That could mean no buying of potential assets. That could mean buying gold and or silver. That could mean putting money in a savings account. That could mean a whole bunch of things to a lot of people, but generally, that means run to safety. Nobody's willing to take risk. And therefore, there's gonna be deals to be had. We're gonna talk about that today. Money Making Monday. All right. EV Place, another investor, the first investor of this Money Making Mondays in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. He brings his tagline this evening. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much. Good evening to you. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're paying attention to those assets as they, for the stock market, was another decent day. And those of you who receive dividends every Friday, once again, you had a very good Monday as well. Smash that like button, did EV Place? He smashed it. Give it a one piece, ladies and gentlemen. We love that. That's right. German Ferraris. Who is the German Ferraris? Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And gives the big clap. I appreciate that. Very, very nice. Thank you so much. When there is blood in the streets, we buying. That's exactly right, EV Place. But I want to let people know, since he said that, as I've said, you know what this also means? There's fractures. So just because the stock market shows green today, for instance, I think it showed green all day, it ended green. That does not mean there was not opportunities. Because of the volatility across so many different sectors around the world, there are opportunities. In fact, I didn't really have a chance to go over this because I should have mentioned it. I think, what is that? Hold on a second. It's an ADR. BYD. Anyhow, BYD is back up to $98. Now, I'm just going to say this right now. One of the leaders in the world for EVs and hybrids. They are selling a lot of cars. So therefore, what you want to do is, it would have been better last week, but they're still under 100, which is incredible. But since we are in the United States and they are a Chinese company, you can only buy ADR. Okay, American Depository Receipt. Over-the-counter markets, BYDDY. That's the one that you can find on the stock market, even though it says over-the-counter markets. I think it is BYDDY. Anyhow, that is a good one to consider when we start talking about assets. All right, German Ferraris, he says, oh my, do you have any info on Larimar construction progress? All I can tell you, German Ferraris, is this. About 2 or 3 days ago, I posted, you can go see a video by Film Videos, all one word, Film Videos, Larimar. Put that in YouTube. It'll come up. He actually did a drone footage of about 5 to 6 minutes, and he shows what's happening at Larimar. And that'll give you the construction progress. Now, German Ferraris, I want to know when your delivery date was, because then it might matter to you what's happening in April, soon to be May, in about 17 days, right? That's correct. 17 days, it's going to be May. So let me know what your delivery date is. No other info on Larimar. There's nothing. Nothing. And German Ferraris, when we start speaking about Larimar, I'm sadly reporting to everybody. And unfortunately, the company itself is not fully transparent, just like a lot of companies in the DR, even though as for all intents and purposes, if anybody owns in Horizon One or Prime Towers, one of the four, then you're supposed to be phase one, supposed to be delivered in 2025. Here it is going to be May. They don't even have a foundation. So for one tower, let alone 5. So, and there's nothing else. There's no pools there yet. There's no restaurant. Well, even if there was, it would make no sense to have pools and restaurants first. But the point is, there's really nothing there but landscaping is what I call it. Moving dirt around, busting rocks, put cranes in like in December, which is 4 months ago. No materials are there. At least his video was at the time 4 or 5 days ago. So probably 6 days old is his video. No materials are there, which you would expect, right? You're thinking, okay, they're going to build. So where's all the blocks or panels or cement, something, right? You would expect some materials and supplies there. There are none. So I don't know what that means to most people, but to me, it means there's no plan of building anytime soon. I mean, that's no indication they're building next week. I mean, they're not gearing up to do anything. So digging more holes to make it like we're going to have a pool and a restaurant, I'm failing to see the advantages of showing people we have seating areas, we have this hole in the ground where there's going to be a pool, a sauna, and there's going to be a restaurant here. I'm like, okay, so what? Nobody's driving 20, 25, 25, 30 minutes outside of town to go sit on the cliff, to go eat or swim in a pool when you actually have the ocean 5 minutes away or less from where you're staying if you're in Punta Cana. So, and you have a beach club there. So it makes no sense if that would be a thing. So it's not a thing. German Ferreras, I've been following you, man. I appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. Let me know if you purchased there, because if you did not purchase there, then all I could say is at this point, I cannot recommend purchasing there because nobody knows when this is going to be built. I think it's going to be built, but unfortunately, my timeline on when it's going to be built, I'm thinking something totally different. And I will just say what it is, because there's people that may be watching. It could be them too, but I'm just going to say there is no way this is going to be the first 5 buildings. They are not building those 5 buildings in 2 years or 3 years. It's already 2025. And so 5 buildings, 1 building a year, they will not probably do. But let's say they did 2 buildings a year. Great. That would get you to 2 buildings a year plus the other amenities on top. And I'm just talking about the pool they're supposed to make, the Farallon that they're supposed to make with the beach clubs, and all that still has to be built. I can't see that being done in 2 or 3 years. And so therefore we're at 2028 is the way I look at it. And I'm not even saying December 2028, this stuff's going to be done. So I'm not trying to sit around or pay them to sit around and give them more money knowing that this thing probably not going to even be the first 5 buildings, won't even be done until 1 or 2 or 3 of them is going to be done in 2029. That's the way I look at it. Especially, like I keep saying, when these guys came out, when the this is the weirdest thing. These guys do weird stuff to me. So the CEO came out on Instagram, did a video, a small clip, and under his clip, they wrote, and he even said, we invite developers to build on our at Larimar City. So right then and there, when he said that, then I was like, okay, but you guys own like 800 and some acres, or paperwork, you control 800 and some acres. All right. So here's the thing though, when you're trying to subdivide your land, you can't just give somebody a piece of paper and say, here, I give you 4 acres or 3 acres. You can't do that. You actually have to have it titled. And so therefore they would actually have to have the acreage all titled to them. Then they would have to submit to the county to subdivide. How long does that take? It ain't going to take 2 months. All right. It's not going to take 5 months the way DR works. I don't know how long it's going to take, but let's just be gracious and say 6 months. Does not matter. I don't know what it is. It could be a year. But the point is, let's just use 6 months. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, after you get the subdivide, now you have to get transfer of title. Well, there we go. Now we're going to have to do, that's going to take 9 months to a year. So we're already at 1.5 years minimum, straight up. Best case scenario, by the way, not the worst case. That's the best case scenario. Now, after the guys get their title, now these guys have to go and submit. They have to say, these are my plans. Can I build this here? And they're going to have to submit it to the city or county and say, hey, now, again, that's not going to be any 1 month, 2 month, 5 month process. So again, the way I know how they work there, I'm looking, that would be 2 years, best case scenario. And it could get a deviation on why it would take longer. And so now you're going to have electrical, water, you're going to have to subdivide a lot of things. So again, that's just 2 years. It's 2025 now. That could be 2027 if somebody did that today. I don't know if anybody's taking them up on that offer. But the fact that they even offered it now meant to me that they are not building the project 100% themselves, which now I start questioning all the stories that they're developers, they're builders, they have equipment, yada, yada. I'm sitting there like, why would you do that? That makes no sense. Well, it makes sense in somewhat when we think we're investing. How does it make sense to you? It makes sense to me that I don't want to develop it because it costs an arm and a leg. So why not sell the land to somebody else, let them build some towers or whatever, and then we don't have to pay for it 100% out of our pocket or out of our promotional budgets or whatever, how they're going to pay for it. So you have it like Vistacana. Somebody goes, pays for the land, gives them a few million. So now that alleviates them. It's the project still gets built, and you don't have to do it. Somebody else is going to build that section you just sold, and you can just keep doing it like Vistacana. Well, as you guys know, look how long Vistacana has been doing it, since 2017. Well, actually, Vistacana is actually old. Vistacana was, the brain idea was thought in the 2000s, 2008, 9, 10, somewhere like that. You might even be able to find a video on YouTube. That's when YouTube first came out, and you'll find it. It's like 10, 12, 15 years old. Maybe not 15, but 13 years old, something like that, video where they were actually talking about it at that time. But it took all those years, and here we are in 2025, over 10 years. Now you see what Vistacana is. So this is similar to what Vistacana did, is what Larimar's doing. Have all this big ass land, and then I don't know what Vistacana originally was doing, but ultimately Larimar was saying we're going to build it all. Now they're saying we'll allow somebody else to buy it and build. So I'm like, okay, so again, I don't have anything really to add because they don't show anything on their Instagram. They're not saying anything via emails. They're not proactive. It's not like they're holding a town hall meeting or any live stream where you can talk with the executives of the company. No, they're all hiding behind, we're going to build it. We're going to build it. Don't you believe us? Stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't believe you, because we know how buildings are built. So I don't believe you. And now it's all bearing fruit now, because obviously they're not building anything by delivery dates in the next 6 months, right? 7 months. They're not going to have one tower done or a half a tower done. So if they do, then you should be afraid, because if all of a sudden they were able to build 5 towers in like a year and a half, I'm not staying in them. I'm going to tell you that right now. I am not staying in them. Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. So all I'm saying is that's these timelines matter, and there's no way you're building 5 towers in a year and a half or 2 years or 2.5 years. It's not going to happen. All right, let alone all the rest of the stuff. So anyhow, hopefully I help you. The other disclaimer I should say, in case I know you've been watching, others may not have been watching. The other disclaimer is I requested a refund last year, not this year, last year. I just can't remember. I was telling somebody today, I don't know if it was 8 months ago, 7 months ago, 9 months ago, 10 months ago, but it's been a while ago. So I have to think it was like, I told somebody, I think it was probably somewhere between 7 and 9 months ago, maybe. And then I started thinking it could have been almost a year ago. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, in 2024, I put in my request and no refund come. All right. They gave me a runaround, send messages to these people, yada, 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 all this BS. And so I thought, okay, they'll just take it. I have prime towers. It's up front, and it overlooks the Farallon on 11th floor, prime tower 2. So I don't see it. They could have resold it, but then can you really resell something when no realtors are trying to sell it? All right, enough. I guess enough beating them up. Uppercuts, but it's not really beating them up. They're just doing it to themselves. EV Place, I've got a few more bags of NVDY at 1510 today. I agree with you 100%. I got some MSTY today and SMCY and NVDY as well. Exactly. My dollar cost average is above what it is right now. It's in the 15s, but it was just a slightly below. So I said it's still below. So let's get some more. I agree with that 110%, man. 110. Got to do it. Post-retirement travel. Mr. Worldwide has showed up, about to go out on his worldwide adventure, I guess in about another 2 weeks or so. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And that's what he's been doing over his career. So therefore, he can travel around the world. Brings his tagline, hello all, let's do this. That's what we do on these live streams. We talk about things that you can do, things that you can effectively do. Just like EV Place talking about that NVDY, $15.10. I have to get excited because we like dividends, ladies and gentlemen. And you like dividends that come in at 20, 30, 40% or higher. Well, then we talk YieldMaxETFs.com around here. And all of you who missed out on JP Morgan's JEPQ ETF when it was around 47, 46, and it even dropped into the 45 range, I missed that myself. But you had it right there. 12, 13, 14% dividends, interest on a JP Morgan ETF if they still give out $6.25 a year this year, which so far they're on track to be about that same thing. If that happens, can you imagine who would not love JP Morgan ETF and you're getting somewhere 13.5, 14%, 12.5 in that range? And quite frankly, even at 10%, where it's almost at now, it's a little over. Actually, I think it's 10.5 or 11% right now. Actually, it's 11. At $50, it went over 50 now. So that means it's still 11%. Who wouldn't take 11%? Seriously, as a dividend for a stock that generally is going to hover around the same price range. So it's almost a true 11% at this point. So again, this is what we talk about here, ladies and gentlemen. Buy those assets. A lot of you, I'm going to take your post-retirement travels. A cup of coffee a day is all it takes. I'll use that. That's the analogy I should be using right now. And so therefore, now you understand. Oh, man. Sherman Ferreras, the Blue Breeze, man. Hopefully you got one of those. If you did buy there, hopefully you got one of those ocean views up front. Yeah, it's now called Breeze Towers because they took the blue part off. But yeah, I was trying to tell some new buyers that I couldn't remember when Paradise Towers and Breeze Towers, they were being sold. And what ended up happening was all of a sudden they had new buyers, and the new buyers started saying, oh no, the Paradise Towers is going to be in the summer, and the Breeze Towers is going to be in December 2026. And I was like, that's news to the people that already bought, because that wasn't the timelines. So I'm glad you actually posted that, because there's a lot of people that don't know that the Breeze was supposed to be done a year and a few months from now. And so that's why I was critical before when I was telling people they have 5 towers to do by December 2025. And then I said, actually, it's 7 towers to do by the summer of 2026. I said, that's not possible last year. And people were still saying at the office at Larimar, at Aqua Business Centers, you don't believe? No, I still would never believe that. And so now there's no don't you believe anymore, because everybody and their grandma knows you cannot deliver even 1 tower by December 25th of this year, nor in the next 6 months after, if we give you grace and we say, okay, just we'll go to May 2026 or June 2026, you're still not going to deliver 1 tower. So it does not matter. All I know is you're not delivering 7 towers by December 2026. So now all 7 towers would be due, plus the amenities, plus the man-made beach that's back there. All that would have to be due. Somebody please tell me, what engineering marvel have you seen on the island of the Dominican Republic where somebody would be able to build something like that in 3 or 4 years? There's nobody. Zero. All of Noval properties, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. All of them. Every big project that had to be done, which, by the way, is Ocean Bay even done yet from Noval, that came out in what, 2019, 2018? That's still not done. So all these, and they're not even nowhere near a Larimar. All these projects, Oceana, that was supposed to be delivered, I think it was February or March of this, or was it last year? Actually, yeah, even Oceana's late. So now they're not going to be done for probably another year, year and a half. Atlanta, that's late. Vista Cana, everything there is late. Everything. Everybody. Nobody's delivered on time. And they're not even building on 800 acres over the phase 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, whatever they're getting up to. This is based on stuff from 2019 and 2020 that's still not built inside Vista Cana. That's 5 to 6 years ago. The Panorama Garden that I was originally getting in 2020, early 2021, still not done. Park, still not done. Although they're close, but they've taken all those years to build. And they're not built, they're only building 3, 4-story high buildings and townhomes. And it took them 5 years. And they're still not done. So we'll just say it's going to take them 5+ years. But the point is, the mammoth project called Larimar is going to take well more than 2, 3, 4, 5 years. First phase, and now it's going to run into the second phase. We have some people, just so everybody knows, we have some people that have bought at there's some people that bought at Larimar in 2024, such as Horizon 1. Horizon 1, which was supposed to be delivered in 2025, September, whose people, who original people have their payment plan end in August of this year. So they would have put in there either 30, 40, or 50%, whatever it is. The new people that buy said, oh, it's going to be March 2026. So of course I'm laughing. I was like, what do you mean? Have you even been out there? I'm like, how do you think in December or November, and you go out there and you saw nothing but a little pavilion and a little tiny road, and then how would you go out there and say, oh yeah, they're going to finish Horizon 1 in a year and a half? Wouldn't at that point it would click in and you would be like, well, wait a minute, in order to do that, isn't this thing 17, 16, 17 floors high? So wouldn't you actually have to make 1 level a month? Clearly you can't do that. Not going to happen. Fully finished, intact, 1 level a month, 30 days, not possible. So that right there, you should have been like, why is my payment ending in March when there's no way you can do this? And add the pools and all the rest of the stuff. There's no. All right. I'm on the island for spring break, stopping by, but also checking on my investments. German Ferreras, let us know, what other places did you invest in? You went the exponential way? You're trying to be the emerging millionaire by getting more than one? I like it. I really like it. I like exponentials. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, man. And that means hopefully you got the right prices to boot. But you can, so if you're on the island, then you can actually go see, but all you're going to see is what film videos showed. Well, like I said, it's 5, 6, it may be 6 days ago. was when he was there. So you don't have to waste your time because there's nothing new. There's no foundations laid down. There's no water running. There's nothing happening, man. They're just landscaping, moving dirt around, whatever. I don't know. I don't even get what's going on. They should tell people what's going on. All right. Next month, I'm expecting my delivery, Blue Marlin. Okay, Blue Marlin, is that the one that's in it's in Los Corrales. That's cool. Congratulations on that, man. That well, next month is low season, right? Well, first of all, you know what? There's something else that's happening. Today's the 14th of the month, and I got to do something. I start checking the middle of the month to find out about March 2025. I start Googling to find out around the middle of the month because whenever the DR waits and does not give you their traffic, their information for the tourist numbers, that's when you know it's not something that's going to be spectacular. Like right now, there's nothing showing. Zero. So again, overseas visitor arrivals to the U.S. declined. That's not DR. Yeah, they haven't released it yet. So that just means there's not going to be any new record for March of 2025. That at least that's what they've shown in the past. And they started this in November when they were only 10,000 air passengers over the record, which was a new record in November. The same thing happened in December, a new record. Same thing happened in January, but it was only 10,000. That's not a lot. So then in February, when it fell under by 167,000, that wiped out the 10,000 plus of 30,000 for the previous 3 months. So that's a trend that is not good. So we will see what happens. We will see what happens. Mr. Compensation, ladies and gentlemen, he's in the house. Nice to see you, my man. He's an investor. He's a go-getter. He has his own channel out here. So go show some love at Mr. Compensation because he's trying to be helpful. He's got that smart brain. He hopefully starting showing people something, but he brings his tagline. And again, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he says, how are you feeling, Godfather E? I'm feeling fine, man. And the SSN family, hopefully everybody's doing well. Post-Retirement Travel also has his YouTube channel. That's right. He showed some videos. He showed some pictures. You got to go show and check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Post-Retirement Travel on YouTube, Post-Retirement Travel on Instagram, Mr. Compensation on YouTube, Mr. Compensation on Instagram. They're part of the SSN Nation, so you know you got to smash the like button. Smash the subscribe buttons. Smash the XYZ buttons. All the social media. Smash the buttons, ladies and gentlemen. Show some love. Because, again, everybody talks about a little different things. Post-Retirement Travel is showing his, videos of him going down to Peru and Brazil and all this, ladies and gentlemen. In case you never go, you can go check it out. Mr. Compensation, he's sitting there waiting for you up in the Northeast to watch his information. So check him out, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. What's this? Wait, I missed something here. What was that? Doggone it. Why did it hide? Doesn't Larimar have a sales office at Punta Cana Village? It's in Punta Cana Village at the Aqua Business Center across from the airport. Yes, I thought I saw someone stating that. Yes, it's at Aqua Business Center in Punta Cana Village. Exactly right. Exactly right. You go down. Well, I don't know the name of this. I should know the name of the street. That's the office address. It's Novembre. You go to Novembre Street, and on the left-hand side from the airport, as you go down Novembre Street, you're going to pass Scotia Bank. You're going to pass what's that other one? can't remember. Well, anyhow, you'll pass Scotiabank on the left-hand side. You'll pass some other banks on the left-hand side. You'll pass Johann's office on the left-hand side. And then about 3/4 of a kilometer down on the left-hand side is Arco Business Center. And that's where on the left-hand side. And you got to drive all the way down to the end and make a U-turn because they don't have a street that you can turn into their office complex. So you make the U-turn and you'll see them there. Interesting. But yeah, that's where they're at, man. That's where they're at. Joe Nay, another investor, another worldwide travelers in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening to you. I hope everybody is doing well on this Money Making Monday live. That's right. I just smashed that like button. He gave it a one-piece uppercut. I appreciate it. Everybody, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you share the videos because you never know. People are missing out on all kind of opportunities. My friends are hard at work. And I just was speaking to them and I'm like, hey, man, don't you know you could be getting 12 to 13% with JEPQ? If you buy today, it's $48. Do you understand? That's JP Morgan. Do you understand? Real estate investment trust. I have to tell you, it's a little risky right now because, you know, they're backed by, they usually buy back mortgages, securities, and things like that. But I'm like, but they're giving like 18%, 17%, 20%, 15%. And if in 3 months, the Federal Reserve is going to reduce the interest rate, 3 to 4 months, somewhere in there, they'll reduce the interest rate. But the bonds, we got a problem with. But no problem, because these guys aren't getting loans right now. So it does not matter for them. And I'm liking that. Then I said, never mind, I'll see you. We got to have dinner. I'll talk to you about YieldMax ETFs. I said, because I'll start scaring you when I tell you 30, 40, 50% possible returns. Now you start getting crazy. And I said it gets crazier than that. But I'm just keeping it right there for now. I just smashed that like button and I love it. Thank you so much for that, Joe Nay. Very, very happy to see you in the house. All right. Now, let's get moving, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot more to talk about. It's Money Making Monday. And first of all, I haven't even done anything yet. Hold on a second. I have some things I have to do here while we're talking, while I'm talking. So here's what I want to talk about too. Your liabilities. If I know 70 to 78% of American citizens are living paycheck to paycheck. So what I'm about to say is going to be very, very hard, but you're going to have to do it. Somehow, some way, you have to reduce your expenses. I don't know how, but you're going to have to try. The reason why is because without a doubt, the cost of living is going to increase. So therefore, even if you reduce your expenses, it'll feel like you're not getting ahead because the cost of living is going to go up because the dollar is being devalued every day. So, but if you can actually reduce it and take some of that reduced money and actually use some of it to make small investments, it can go a long way for your future. It will add up over the next 2 years. 1 year, 8 months. You have 2 years. And actually, I got you ahead prematurely, like always, because I don't want you to think you can go past 1 year, 8 months. Because you more than likely will be able to. Nothing's going to really hit the fan at that point. But as soon as it gets to 2 years, it's going to be bad. It's going to start being, it's cracks already, but it's going to be bad because it takes a while for this tariff and chaos to go over. It doesn't happen instantly. The only thing that happens instantly is when somebody says against another country, tariffs, anything incoming starting today is going to cost 25% more or 50% more. That comes to the system. So now it arrives today. When does it come to the market? Is it 2 months from now? Is it 3 months from now? Is it 4 months from now? That's the question, right? But usually there's a delay. So that means while the delay is happening, over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 months, prices are going to start creeping up. All right. So that's what's going to happen. So therefore, even if you're saving, it's going to seem like you have to spend the same amount of money or more money to buy the same things. It's just that's how it's going to work. All right. Just so you guys get a clear and understand what I am saying. So once you have that situation, you got to control your credit. So that means pay down your debt, all your credit, try to get it down. You got 1 year, 8 months. It's not like you have to do it tomorrow, but you're going to have to try to work your way over the next 1 year and 8 months. That's a long time. All right. So if you need a little help, obviously, let's see, we can do smart credit. Now that's going to be an investment that's it's a smart credit is a monitoring service, right? So that's what you're going to need. They have a special for you. There'll be a special. All right. Some people were able to get in on the special. I told people about it before. You're going to have to, after I add it to this live stream, I'll add the link down below in the description box. And I just did. So some people will have to refresh. Everybody would have to refresh their screen. All right. What I also added was something called National Credit, where you may need some help, which unfortunately, in order to improve your credit, if your credit is bad or needs work, is get more credit, right? And that is what you have to do there. No credit check, no qualifying. You can get additional credit. And so there's a link down there for them. But Smart Credit can actually monitor all your credit scores, your hiring index score. You have identity theft insurance for everybody in your household that lives in the same house, same address for your credit cards and things like that. And so all that can come into play. We had things such as $1 a month for 5 months kind of thing going on. All right. So I don't know what the latest promo is going to be, but please use the link down below. It's the Stop Struggling Now link. All right. So that's the one thing you want to figure out straight away. You can't delay anymore. You're going to need your credit score to be at 775 or higher. All right. That's how we have to do it. Do not play around with 725, 750, 760. 775 is your target. Just keep that in mind. All right. With hardly any liabilities to be paying 25, 30, 35, 37, 40% interest for credit cards. You're going to have to get off the credit. If you don't have the cash, don't use the credit cards. That's your first thing you should do. You should just put them all in a little stack. I put them all in a little stack, set them on the shelf. Don't need them. You're going to need one or two because you should always use a card for everything. Just so you guys know, because you have protection when you use your credit cards. You don't have protection when you use a debit card. You kind of do. I shouldn't say don't. You have a little bit of protection, but you have more protections when you have a credit card, not a debit card. All right. So the object of the game is you use the cards, you go buy something, slide the credit, then you go home or sitting right there, you go, okay, I bought this for 150 bucks. I'll just pay $150 to my credit card electronically, make a payment. That way it shows you're using the card. That shows you're paying it on time. And then what's going to happen, they're going to send you stuff going, hey, do you want to increase your credit limit? You just turn it down. Or if you're disciplined, you say yes. That's how simple it is, right? Okay. And that'll keep your, that 10% or less is what you need for your debt utilization. That's a must. You'll have on-time payments. That's a must. So your credit score will start creeping as long as you get all your credit reduced. That's a must. In 1 year and 8 months, you got to be at 775. And now I'm going to give you the other side of the fence for all of you who think it's not going to be a hopeful scenario. On the other side of the fence, there could be a housing situation that comes up. And I shouldn't say could be. There will be a housing situation that's going to come up. And what do I mean by that? Not buying a house, that's a liability. I'm referring to duplexes. I'm referring to triplexes. I'm referring to quadplexes, where you can go down and get an FHA loan, so it'll be 3.5% down. All right, so keep that in mind. Those are the things that you want to look for. And you're going to want to look for cheap land. Not just quite yet, but start getting familiar with cities and states and places that you know that people want to live in. And then when the property that's on the outskirts of town a little bit wants to go down, which it will, because people will not be buying land, so you'll be able to buy them cheap. And there's places like discount lots that you can go to. All right. Plus others. There's Great Land, all these places where people are doing no credit checks, no qualifying, not on your credit report. That's a kicker. Not on your credit report, but it's still on credit. That's a great move. And you control the land in case you want to do something later, or in case some magical thing happened where all of a sudden, even during this chaos, where the land goes up to 50, 60, 100, 200, 150,000, and now you have opportunity to do something at that point. So just keep that in mind. All right. All right, here we go. The first step to invest is to have a budget in writing. Write down your income versus expenses and start cutting if you have to. Keep it simple, basic math. Then you'll be able to project wealth. There you go. I like it. Very succinct and simple. See, some people are better than me at explaining it. They don't have to do like 5 minutes. Thank you so much for that post-retirement travel. You got that exactly right. Thank you so much. Eric, question. How soon after you pay off an account does it hit your credit score, i.e. after paying off a car loan or credit card? It's usually like 30 to 90 days because they're going to report it down to zero on your next that in the same 30-day cycle. But usually that tag that doesn't report that loan usually is like 90 days. It's from what I've done, what I've seen personally. I'll put it that way. So a credit card shows right off that there's zero. A car loan will show zero owed, but it'll still have a lien holder on there. How long does a lien holder stay on there? That's what I'm trying to get to. Sometimes it's 30 days, sometimes it's 60, sometimes it's 90. It's happened to me. The longest has been 90 days. And I actually had to call up, like on BMW, I actually had to call them up. I was like, hey, man, I got the title and everything. So why does this still report that you guys are the lien holder? Yeah, so it's crazy. And that was past 90 days, quite frankly, because I didn't really, I didn't pay no attention because I knew it was paid off. But I was like one day looking and I was like, wait a minute, why does this keep saying that? So, but yeah, general, it all depends. BMW didn't. It stayed on there for, I don't even know how long, 6, 7, 8 months. But most of the cars I've ever had, when I paid them off, it was like within 90 days. All right. So first things first, get your credit in order. You will need to boost your credit up. You can go with National Direct Credit. You can try that. That's no qualifying and get and you're going to have to pay that down. And again, that'll be another credit line, but still, at least you'll pay it down. Now, the other thing for all of you who do not believe in investing in the stock market, I understand, but you have no choice. This is Europe, 2000, Europe, 2005. This is where we're at right now. All right. Where all the people sat there and their banks, because they did the unthinkable, the craziest thing ever, reducing the Federal Reserve rate in the EU zone was the craziest thing ever. What that did was that they went down to zero. The banks were charging people money to keep their money in the bank. So obviously people were like, oh, you serious? People are retired, 65 years old. They were thinking they're leaving their bank, 70 years old, leaving their money in the bank and they were willing to take the 3%, 4%. So when they went to zero and negative, actually, the bank was going, okay, we see you have $1 million or 500,000 here. We need $150 a month, $200 a month. This is what they were doing, ladies and gentlemen. So be very careful when somebody is going, I need 0% interest rates. Be very, very careful. Because as a retiree, what you need is to earn interest on your money because you don't have a job. So, and your peak earning years are well behind you, unless, of course, you're a businessman. So that means a businessman never has a peak earning year. They can always have peak earning years. So therein lies what you have to think about. You don't need liabilities. A house is a liability. Just remember that. Interest rates right now, what are they? 7% for a mortgage right now. They went up. We talked about this on Friday. But what I need to talk about is Robinhood and Webull and Moomoo. That's right. We even had Moomoo to the mix. But get your free shares of stock by downloading, right? Just download the software with Robinhood. You'll get a free share of stock. Download the software with Webull. Now they want you to make a deposit in order to get some free fractional shares or free shares of stock. Moomoo, I don't even know about their free shares of stock. There's an offer, but I don't know. I made deposits. I never received nothing. So they say they're supposed to give me free shares of stock, but I haven't received any. So we will see. We will see. So anyhow, I added links down below to that. And again, I say this every live stream now. For the next 1 year, 8 months, I got to get my timer. I got to do a bunch of things. But Wealthfront, a lot of people say, I just want to be like Warren Buffett-esque. I want to just put my money into something and just go la, 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 and go off and on my merry way. I like a 401k, right? I just put some money in, whatever is going on just goes on. Well, Wealthfront is a great opportunity. They're down below in the description box now, along with Webull, Robinhood. There's Wealthfront. So go check them out. They're all affiliate links. Let's just call it what it is. And you're going to have to recession-proof yourself. How do you recession-proof yourself? Recession-proof yourself is when you have to get gold and silver, right? Precious metals. That traditionally is how you recession-proof yourself. That's a little bit. I'm not going to say throw all your eggs in one basket like that, because again, they don't give out dividends. That's the thing that drives me crazy. So just like right now, let's say gold is 3,200. Okay, I'll back up. Let's say 5 years ago, gold was 1,500. It's 5 years later, gold is 3,200. Well, guess what? In the last 5 to 6 years, inflation has doubled. Everything you're paying 5 to 6 years, you're paying double what you paid back then. So the fact that it's at 3,000 is just meeting the inflation number. That doesn't help us here. That does not help us. And it's not liquid. And we don't get to earn any interest, dividends, nothing. So that's why I say a little bit, because I can't carry it with me either. It's heavy. So this is why you have to do the light work, very light work, electronic work, if you can get it. And everybody here can get it. Businesses can get it. You can have a TIN number. You can have Social Security number. You can have EIN numbers. Everybody can invest. Nobody can stop you from investing. All right. So that's why you have no choice. The top 10% of the wealthiest do not put their money in the stock market and control 93% of it for the hell of it. It's their own casino. They get to manipulate it, but you as an individual have to play. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. Especially, again, 20 years from now, another lifetime, I don't know what's going to happen. Where we're going to be at as a nation, a declining empire, where you're going to be at. Because if you don't have money stashed away, you're going to be on the slave ship. And I don't mean it like 1800 slave, 1730 slave ship. I'm referring to you're going to have to work just to live in a little cubicle box, just to live in a small place. That's what's going to happen over the next 20 years. There's going to be a downgrade. The American upgrading system is over because the wealth is controlled in a small amount of the population. And so there's a ceiling that's being built. So this is why I've been saying you're going to be in a third world country, but you don't know it yet. But the fact of the matter is that's what's going to happen. Another lifetime, another 20 years. The only way that's going to stop is if America returned to being in the top 5, top 10 with a lot of things, technology, education, schooling, and we're going the opposite direction. And there's no way, no empire can maintain itself without having the innovations, the technologies, and improving. Every declining empire that has failed is because they reached their breaking point. And the breaking point comes different ways. But the Roman Empire is what the United States is. It's basically you're trying to branch out and control a lot of area, and then you don't have the money to pay to do it. And then ultimately you start taxing your citizens until your citizens don't have any more money. So that's where we're at now. 78% of people, 70 to 78% of people are living paycheck to paycheck during the course of a month. So we're already there. So now they're going to knock off the upper middle class. So now it'll be the top 10 to 15% are going to have the money. Everybody else is living paycheck to paycheck. Now you can't pay the taxes. You're not going to buy the revenues for businesses to pay the taxes. So now where are you going to get the money from? Nowhere. Zero places. Don't have factories. We don't have cheap labor yet in all this. So then you get yourself into the EU type situation where Spain, Italy, France, now the UK, because they don't have world currency, so they can't play, right? So all those countries in the EU, they're flat. There's a reason. You can only do borrowing money from your central bank. Sooner or later, you've devalued your currency to the zero. So now somebody else is going to step in. The somebody else that is looking like, unfortunately, sadly, is China. I mean, and the problem with that is China is like a communist country. You have no rights. No, nothing. So if you're used to being in the USA, you're used to being in the EU zone and a lot of, Latin countries that are not dictatorships, then you're not going to be equipped to deal with cameras. They're taking money out of your accounts. They can arrest you and put you somewhere else. Well, we're already there now for the United States. That's what's happening. Our government's doing that to U.S. citizens on the guise of they're terrorists or they're illegals. And I'm just like, is this fucking for real right now? Freaking 1939 Germany? Seriously. But anyhow, this is what's happening. This looks like a declining empire. Just like, speaking of 1939, talking about declining empires. A similar situation. If the crazy dude would have just stopped and taken the land that he had, which he could not maintain, they would have possibly been able to control this whole thing because he was friends with Russia. He was friends with Mussolini. And he was man of the year. People were like, even though he's doing all this atrocities, people were still like, okay, you can have this and you can have that. You can invade Poland, you can invade Czechoslovakia, you can invade Northern Africa, you can do all this. We sign off. But the problem that they were going to face is the same problem that the Roman Empire faced. After you got all that, now you have to get more. And now you're going to have to create where you're going to get the money from to make sure everybody's under control. America has just not expanded, but their footprint has expanded. So therefore, that's why now we're going to spend $1 trillion on our military this year. Do you know what $1 trillion can do? That can stop world hunger and have money left over. Do you understand? Every American could have thousands in their bank account every year. It's crazy to think that they're going to do $1 trillion for military might. Meanwhile, education, we don't care. Healthcare, we don't care. Jobs, we don't care. It's amazing. So anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you have to protect yourself. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Um, and now I want to do education today a little bit because we have people who watches and they don't understand what's happening. When the United States dollar goes down, there's a lot of people that starts going woohoo, woohoo. Okay, listen. The United States dollar going down is no time for celebration. The dollar going up is no time for celebration. Each direction that occurs, there's a cause and effect for the rest of the world. Just keep that in mind. We have world currency. Keep that in mind. So now when the rest of the world says the dollar, it looks like it's declining, it's not worth the paper it's written on, and they start selling their bonds, treasuries, all of a sudden there's nobody investing in the United States. There's an outflow. All of a sudden now that's a problem. So bonds go down with the interest rate because they're selling. So then what has to happen? There has to be a reversal. They have to give a higher interest rate. And again, I spoke about this on Friday. Bonds, treasuries are actually what dictates your mortgage. So if you want your mortgage to be like a 2.5, 2.75, or 3%, which will never happen again, then you need our economy to not be in chaos and turmoil. You need the world to believe it's stable. So then they're willing to invest at lower rates for a 10-year bond, 10-year treasury. That's what's supposed to happen. And that way America can pay back its debt. But now 4.5% means America has to give out trillions on trillions of dollars of bonds. They have to give out 4.5%, 4.3%. Start doing mathematical equations on $1 trillion and having to give out 4.3%, ladies and gentlemen. Then start thinking how many United States citizens there are that have a job that makes over $30,000 a year. That's going to create a taxable event for a nice percentage of their income. So now all of a sudden you start doing numbers. You can easily see by numerics that there's a problem. So you're not going to get your bailout like it used to be, a house going. What do you guys think is going to happen? A $500,000 house. Okay, do you think if, let's just say they went back to a 2.5% mortgage rate right today. Do you think that $500,000 house is not going to be 700, 800,000 within a month or two? Do you not think the $1 million house won't be 1.7 to $2 million within a month or two? Because there will be a buying frenzy. After that is over, who's going to be able to afford these things to maintain? Do you think the taxes aren't going to be crazy? You think insurance is not going to be crazy? See, there's a no-win scenario. And you think you're going to be able to tap into the equity and get a HELOC and do what? Do what? You're going to be homeless if you do that project that way because you don't even know if you're going to have a job for 15 to 20 years, let alone 5 years. So again, this is not how you handle things, in my opinion. So we have to think about what do we need you guys to do, right? We need you to reduce your liabilities. We need you to get your assets all over the planet, not just in America. You see there's American citizens getting deported. You see people with legal paperwork getting deported that is allowed to be here by law getting deported. What do you think happened to those people? They're being deported. Their bank accounts are here. Where they live is here. Their furniture, their cars, all this is here. Gone. So what happens? You're out the country into another country that you never really lived, but maybe you speak the language. I don't know. But again, I told you guys about those passports. They've already started shutting off. Well, they already did before, but shutting off passports, shutting off entry back to America without due process. This is a situation like 1930s in Nazi Germany. All right. The only difference is, so far, is they're not putting fucking stars on people to make sure everybody's mean to them. All right, excuse my language. I just get pissed when I start talking about this. Yes, the European Union is in financial straits. We're going to Europe in 2 weeks, and the dollar versus euro is low now. It was $1.04 last year when I went. Now it's $1.13 for €1. It sucks. Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. But you know what's funny? Even though that's the transaction, the exchange rate, you know what's funny? It's still going to be cheaper to stay there and go out, relax, eat, drink, be merry than it costs in the United States. See, that's the difference. And so when people say, I want this, I want that for our dollar, you guys have to be very, very careful. You don't want anything with you want the dollar to just be stable. That's all you care. That's what you really want. You don't want this gyrations. You want things to be stable. Otherwise, you're going to be hurt. So if you want to sit here and just go la da 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 and think, okay, I have a house, it's paid off. You know what a lot of people said like 10 years ago? A lot of people said, I have a house, it's paid off. But over the last 10 years, a lot of those people do not have insurance for their home anymore. A lot of those people need rehab on their house. And if the rehab that you were going to pay 10 to 12 to 15 years ago is no longer that price. So now that thing that you need repair that used to cost $300 like 12 years ago, $200, and people are saying, oh no, that's just when I show up, it's $200, $150. That's my travel time. Then when they show up and need to fix them, oh, that's $1,500. Like it's no big deal. That's $2,000 for stuff that traditionally would have been only a few $100. So this is where we're going, because they're going to be specialized now. If somebody can build a deck, how many people can build decks? If somebody can do roofing, how many people can do roofing? If somebody needs the boiler fixed or changed out, who can do that? If the dishwasher is broken and needs fixing, who can do that? Right? All these things that used to be the handyman type of guy, or the licensed guy would come over and he'd be like, oh yeah, man, I'm coming over here. This is how much it's going to be. If this is what it needs, he would just tell you, oh, that'll be $75 plus the part. And since I get the part at a wholesale price, I'll just add on $1 or $2 just for my, and then you'd be out of there. But no, not anymore. You can forget that, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what is going to happen over the next 2 years. It's going to get worse. And what's also going to get worse is your property taxes are going to get worse. Your insurance, whoever has insurance coverage, is going to get worse. There's where your expenses are going to rise just for living. And you're not going to be immune if you're in condos, because your condo insurance is going to go up. So therefore, it trickles down to the condo owners, the HOA. All right, great point. Cost of living there is so low. Can't wait for real gourmet coffee for $1.50 instead of the $7 bucks here at Starbucks. How in the hell are people making it here? Hey, man, they're not. They're not. There's a growing amount of a rental population. The people who are in their 20s and 30s are now staying with their parents. I can't blame them. Hell, I don't want to stay with my parents. Let's get real. I mean, this is crazy right now. This is crazy. This is insane. They're not going to, who can afford $500,000? You have to make, well, right now, that payment's going to be $3,000 a month. You would have to have a household income of over $150,000. So both of you have to make 150,000 combined, or somebody has to make 150,000. And that's just to get the house. That doesn't even include your insurance. That doesn't include your property taxes. I mean, this is insane. So again, when you travel outside the country, you get to find out how much Americans are paying for things, and the rest of the world is just sitting there like, Okay, it's nice that you guys are coming here to visit. We appreciate it, greatly appreciate it, because you're going to spend some money because over here is so cheap in a lot of places. So they're happy to see an American tourist. And so that's why they're great. And if you're in business, you're American. Oh, have a seat. Come in down. We got everything right here. We got special deals for you today because they know you're going to spend money because you're going to sit there and just like post-retirement travel saying $1.50 cup of coffee, which now means maybe you go to Starbucks, maybe you don't. But if you're in America and you go get coffee, even at an IHOP or something, they're like $4.99 for a freaking cup of coffee dripped. And I'm sitting there like, how is this even? This is not making sense. So now you go, oh, well, if it's only $1.50 for that, what's that thing over there? They're like, oh, that's only $2.50. You're like, oh my God, there's something I can eat here too. They're like, oh, by the way, we got a whole menu over here. And you're like, is this for real right now? $7 for breakfast? $7.50? $8? You're like, of course I'm gonna spend $12 for breakfast. With everything. Good service, drinks, eats, full, maybe even have leftovers. It's crazy. You come back to America, it's the Twilight Zone. That same thing you just ordered is now $35 a person. It's like, what did you mean this meal is $26 a person? They ordered one too. What do you mean this is 50 some dollars? Like, this is crazy. And what do you mean it cost me $10, $15 for drinks? This is $65, $70. But in the EU, $30, sir, $25, sir, in a lot of places in the EU. And around, don't even let me get to the Latin American countries because post-retirement travel will tell you it's even crazier when somebody says, all your meal and the drink you had, and by the way, that little fruit and all that, that was $6.50 for everything. Yes. Hope to see you later. You're damn right you're going to see me later. Like, oh man. Oh man, you guys. It's crazy. It's crazy out here. It's going to get worse. That's all I'm trying to warn you. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand. There's a war going on, and it's our government against us, the OCs. They're not out here trying to help you. If I'll put it to you another way, maybe you guys should start thinking about it a different way. If you were trying to help a nation of 300 million people, what would you try to do? Your first order of business, if you showed up, would you not try to say, okay, it cost an arm and a leg here. We have to figure out how to reduce prices. So then you go, oh, well, we are a nation that is built on capitalism. So I can't really dictate prices. But can I? Okay, let's just drop that part first. Let's see, how can we get something happen? I know. How about them subsidies that we have going to these corporations who already make record-setting profits? How about them billions of dollars? You know what? I like that highway system that was built under one administration and that created a boom. Why don't we start taking a few of those millions and making some factories where we're going to make sure that we pay people livable wages so that way we can control how much things cost in America? Not having people ship back from outside the US because we still need the cheap stuff. We have to set up factories. That could be 5 years, that could be 7 years, 3 years, whatever. But that's the start. We have to do that. Then we have to deal with this inflationary thing, and therefore that means paying down the debt. So now we have to rearrange where some of these monies are going for free people, corporations, loans that get forgiven. And I'm not talking about student loans. We're not giving these guys 1.5% interest loans for 15 years. No, If the general public can't get a loan like that, then you can't do loans like that. Sorry. If it's an open system, everybody gets it or nobody gets that. You don't get to leapfrog everybody else because you can get a interest only loan for 15 years and get all that appreciation and equity and then laugh at people because they can't do the same thing because they can't get that same equity. All right. That's how this works, ladies and gentlemen. And if your government is not doing that, which no government hardly is, then you have to protect yourself. And the only way you protect yourself is financially, because if you don't have any money, you can't protect yourself. That's how this works. All right. Agree with you, Eric. Real estate will be the ultimate goal, but the short-term solution is the stock market. Exactly. The only way to build generational wealth. Other than that, you won't make it. That's simple. Exactly. There's no way around it. I used to tell people back in the day, I'd be like, hey, man, you could do this, you could do that. And they used to go, man, you do a lot of different things. I said, yeah. I said, actually, I'm on a different program. I'm on a different program. I'm just like having fun doing, because I wanted to find out what the rest of the world was like. I wanted to find out what's going on because I already know what the end game is. And the end game always was you have to buy stocks, you have to buy ETFs, you have to be in the stock market. There's just no way around it. The good news is some people would say, oh, I can't get in. I'm like, $5. Just start with 5, start with 10, start with 20. I don't really care. Just start and then just put something in. $10 a week, $10 every 2 weeks. I don't really care. You have to do something. But then you just can't pick anything. You should just pick the blue chip stocks, the apples. I'll just say VOO. Just keep it simple. VOO. All right. Just pick that. SPY, QQQs. I mean, those are fine too, but that's it. It's pretty simple, ladies and gentlemen. Play safe. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to do this stuff that people say, hey, oh, I bought Tesla when it was $5 a share. Okay, you did, but that was 2006 or something. This is 2025. Now it's 200 and some dollars. A person can't, it's not the same. $5 is not worth 200 and something. $5 is probably worth 15 now. So where's that $15 Tesla, right? That's your job. Where is it? Or you should go, in my mind, you should be thinking about dividends. That's it, because you need extra revenue. You need extra income. So you should be thinking dividends in my book, even if you do have to pay 25% on it. It's still money that you're not having to work for. And you start accumulating enough of that. Next thing you know, it could be, okay, it's only $50 this month. Next thing you know, it could be 75. Then it could be 100. That's reinvestments, of course. You're not going to take the money out. But all I'm saying is you can keep building. And it helps build by itself each month or every week nowadays, because it was unheard of to have weekly dividends back in the day. That would have been off the charts. But this every week, every month kind of thing is a standard that's being set now. So therefore, you're having a reinvestment much sooner. So as long as you stay in and you don't have to sell, you're doing great. And that's the goal, ladies and gentlemen. As post-retirement travel has said, it's that simple. You have no choices anymore. You can't keep up with 20% increases. This year, 20% across the board it's gonna cost you 25% more across the board. So even though something might be 5% more here, 2% more there, 1% more there, your budget is, let's just say, $1,000. Guess what? It's gonna your that $1,000 is no longer your budget. $1,250 is what it cost you for that 1,000. So where are you gonna get the extra $250? Right? You're gonna get a second job. A lot of you know, or probably don't know, but I've mentioned this before. I've done everything. I've worked 2 jobs. All right, so much it you have barely any time. One job is 8 hours. The second job is 8 hours. You have to get to and from those jobs. And where's your rest time? So 16 hours a day. That's if it was right across the parking lot and you can actually go there after you get off the next one, but that's not reality. So now your travel time, 20 minutes, 15, 30, 35, whatever the case may be, you're going to the next job. Now you're sitting there at the next job, which is an hour, obviously an hour later. So actually that's 17 hours. And so you have 7 hours to sleep, get a decent meal, and get ready the next day. So is it 6 hours? Is it 5.5? And you have to do that 5 days a week. This is what happens when you're trying to make things happen. You have to go above and beyond. It's very, very hard, especially if you have children, right? Now try to pigeonhole that in if you have a child as well, or multiple children. Now try to think about the dynamics. How long can you sustain that? That is not sustainable, right? And then try to deal with other things. Are you going to have time to make investments? You're going to have time to study something. You're going to have a time to improve yourself in any way, right? Think about all this. This is where this is going. This is why there's already 2 people that have to work. And sooner or later, it's going to be 2 people plus a kid. I mean, this is where this is going. All right. Or renting out your room. It's already there. Or rooms, right? Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying that helps. You know, if nobody's at the house and you have 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms empty, okay, rent out a room or 2. Get that $500 to $1,000 per room. I'm not mad at you. But again, that's what we're resorting to, what they now call ADUs. Acting like you have a house, you make an ADU, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, is it cool though? You're shortening up your spaces, and you have other people that are having to rent. And even though you own it and you get rent from it, and the value increases, that helps the owner of that property. But the people that live there, they're probably going to be stuck, because the value of a home on their own keeps increasing. And unless their purchase price or purchase ability increases, they're stuck. So again, homeless in LA, homeless in California. Why is it going to rise? Because the home value, the home prices in Cali are off the charts. You have layoffs in the Bay Area, you have layoffs in Southern California. You have layoffs in the foothills, you have fires, you have whatever. Next thing you know, what can you do? Nothing. You go look for a job. But so is another few thousand, a few million looking for those nice paying jobs. So again, you can find yourself stuck real fast. So therefore, you need a portfolio of something, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, even if it's gold, silver, and a little bit of that. At least you can go and sell the gold and silver, right? To tide you over. And you have to start thinking about savings of some sort, having money somewhere just in case there's a tragedy that happens and all of a sudden you need to chill for 6, 7 months. Or you could have good friends. The SSN Nation family. All right. So once again, you never know. Sometimes, people hurt. They need a little help. Right. So I know somebody and they say, hey, I'm having a problem. I've never had an issue because I've always had extra rooms that basically were guest rooms. I never, they're just sitting there. So it was never a problem for me to say, yeah, man, you're a friend of mine. Just come and stay. No problem. And they'd say, how much? I say, what do you mean? You're my friend. There's no cost. Everything in the fridge is yours. Everything you see in here in the house, in the room right there, that's where you're sleeping. The fridge, whatever you want to get out of there, it's yours. The pantry, whatever you want. There's nothing. Just as long as you're here, it's cool with me. And there's a car in the driveway, man. Not mine, not the wife's, but that other car. That's, you can take off whenever you want to. No biggie. That's how you can help people. But that kind of thing is what's needed in America now. All right. So you guys, You're going to be the leaders of how this is going to end up. All right. So that's my speech for the night, ladies and gentlemen. No fun and games tonight. We're just talking straight biz. We're talking the reality of the situation, that you cannot sit here and say, oh, I can't be in stocks. Oh, I can't think about real estate. Oh, I can't think about buying into a business that makes money. You have to think about everything to create additional streams of revenue. And I don't mean to consume yourself with it, but I'm just saying the only way you can do that is cut off your liabilities, cut off your bills, reduce your expenses immediately. Like Post-Retirement Travel said so eloquently right here, I'll put that in. All right. The first step is to invest, to have a, oh, wait, because that won't light up. That's weird. Why won't that light up? I gotta put a star on it. All right. There we go. The first step to invest is to have a budget in writing for everybody on podcast. Write down your income versus expenses and start cutting if you have to. Keep it simple, basic math. I love it. Then you'll be able to project wealth. Exactly. I'm going to tell you guys something else. I guess I'll have to give a little story. You know what's very interesting is it's the late, let me see. It's the late 80s. There's chaos brewing. Savings and loans debacle as there's cracks happening. The interest rate for loans are 6-7%, something like that, as I recall. Guy's trying to sell his condo. The dude, I come over and the guy's like, I need out. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm here to look at your condo. The price seems to be about right. He's like, no, you don't understand. There was something he owed a little money to or something. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so I said, no worries. I'll assume whatever it is, fine. You know what happens? Because then I started going, well, I don't know, man. I got another place in here too that I'm checking out and whatever. The guy immediately says, I need to get rid of this right now because I need some of the cash. I'll give you my 2002. This is not the year 2002. This is a BMW. 2002 BMW, 1972 or 3, I can't remember. I'll give you that if you get this. I'm like, what the heck? I was going to buy it anyhow. He's like, I'll give you that if you buy this and make a deal with me right now. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. I was like, fine. So I bought the condo from the guy just because he threw the car in. I was like, are you serious right now? It's a collector car. Of course I'll take it. That's crazy. I mean, I used to get all kind of deals because real estate people would be like, I got to get rid of this because the interest rate was high. They couldn't refi. They're running behind on their note or something because back then, 3 months, foreclosure. Pre-foreclosure letter comes, then you're going to be in foreclosure probably in 6 months, 5 or 6 months, you got foreclosure going down. So he didn't want none of that. So he's like, take my car. I'll give you my car. I'm out. I just need to get rid of this thing. So that's what happens when you have a bad chaos, because that's what chaos did in the 80s. Same type of thing. So you are going to have opportunities now because a lot of people are either going to try to sell stuff or try to get rid of assets because they need money for something else. So they can't have the liability on their credit or record or whatever. So therefore, there's going to be opportunities, but you have to be ready, ladies and gentlemen. And you're not going to be ready if you have liabilities. That's why we need you to have a 775 credit score. All right, just get there. Thank me when 2027 rolls around. Thank me then. All right, am I going to still be around? I don't know. But I probably will. I'm never probably going to give up the live streams. I said I was going to retire in 1 year in about 6 months, but I doubt if that happens because this is going to be a long, treacherous road to ride on, and I'm all here for it. So we got to talk to you guys about money making Mondays, you have to have assets outside of America. Even, you know what's funny? Even if you have it in another country that's kind of messed up, which I don't know why you would invest in a country that's messed up, but you need something outside of the United States. As people are getting deported, U.S. citizens with no due process and landing in some zone that they've never lived in, never grew up in, or nothing, it'd be awfully nice to have another spot that you could say to them, hey, I got this spot over here, man. Is there any way I could get over to this other spot? I'll start walking right now. Just let me have a pass so I could so the federales don't mess with me. So that you could say, okay, I'm allowed to be here for 30 days. We good. I'll get there. I know. So I'm just saying, this is real. I told you guys, I hate to be a prophet, but I told you guys 5 years ago, get some property outside the United States. Make sure you have your passport. Make sure you have all this stuff because you never know what's going to happen. Well, we do already know what's going to happen, but I'm just saying, just shh. We already know what's going to happen. So we knew this stuff was coming like this. So it is what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up tonight. I gave you a little bit of something to talk about, to think about, and hopefully you guys will take heed. I'll see you on Wednesday night at 8:50 p.m. I'm going to try and make it on time. It would be awfully nice if I'm on time. That would be more respectful. So I'm sorry, you guys, that I was late again. I'm going to try and get this right because I don't really like being that late. But today I was, so please forgive me once again. I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. I thank you for listening to me. And I actually love when people are taking action to make sure that they are getting their wealth built, they're getting their credit right, they're getting their liabilities removed. They're trying to do the best thing that they can do with their limited budgets. That's the only way this can work around. All right. All right, Eric, when are you going back to DR? Well, how long are you going to be in California? No plan to come back east? Yes. No, probably in May. Remember, here's the thing. I was looking at this today, May 13th, 14th, and 15th. We're going to have the Punta Cana Investors Forum. Notice I said we're going to have. I do not have anybody that has signed up for it. I looked at airfare and I was like, is this correct? I was looking on the East Coast airfare out of the ATL, out of where was it? DFW, out of a lot of places. I was sitting there and I was in disbelief. I saw like round trip per person, 350 minimum, 400 and something normal on the East Coast per person. And interior wise, it's in the 550 to 700. I'm sitting there like, this can't be. So now a family of two coming over is gonna be near anywhere from 700 to 1,300. I'm just like, that's unacceptable. And furthermore, nobody has signed up for the Punta Cana Investors Forum to date. So therefore, I'm probably going to cancel. So December 2024 is ultimately going to be the last one. As I said, it was going to be the last one last year, but then I said, nah, let's just go one more time. But nobody has signed up. So therefore, I'm probably going to cancel it because there's nothing more that we need to do. And the reason I'm saying this as each month goes by, because these guys, there's a problem. Let's just keep it real. There's a problem. There's not enough buyers anymore coming to the island. There's tourists are reducing themselves. They're not going there because the price I see right now. Why? $450 round trip from the East Coast is crazy. I'm serious, man. Open Skies did not do what people thought it was going to do. As I was telling you guys, it's never reduced the airfare. So it's very, very interesting. Oh, yeah. So I won't be over there, I don't think, man, because I'm not going over there for anything. It was only going over there to help people because I don't really have any business there anymore. I divested myself of business there because of all the ripoff artists. And I haven't adjusted my shirt, but all these ripoff artists, developers, the business owners, everybody that I've done business with, a myriad of people, it's always the same game. I owe you money, but wasn't it? Wasn't it? What do you mean? Writing, talking, papers. I'm like, it's everybody. Crabs in a bucket. Everybody. Oh yeah, well, I owe you money, but it's something else. It's not what we talked about. It's not what was written down. It's not what we have in our texts and WhatsApp and stuff. It's lower than that. I'm like, okay, fine. No more business coming to the island for me. It's like everybody, 100%. We're talking about 10. I haven't even really thought about it, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it might be 10 people. 10 people. Then there's people that said, "Hey, I'll send you a check because a few people came over here and did some stuff for us, and I'll give you some checks." Okay, we never made any really deal and paperwork. But after they say that, now I have 4, 5, 6 people went over there, did some business, and then I'm like, I don't even say anything because I'm just like, okay, you're just like everybody else. If I'm going to say something, then you're going to tell me, yeah, well, whatever story. I'm sick. I'm ill. My family's sick. Whatever. Yeah. I'm tired of dealing with these guys. I dealt with them 4 years, 5 years. And every time anything has to deal with money, it's always something else. Always. So now I'm officially off the train and calling it like I see it is that we invest for a reason. We can't invest if there's a situation of tourist numbers going down. So everybody who was able to get their units 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, you're going to be good because, or even 2 years ago, your prices were low. So you can withstand lower tourism because you can charge more than your 0.1%. So you'll be fine. The people who now are paying these ridiculous amounts starting about 2 years ago, now you're going to be overpriced because you won't be able to get the 0.1%. And now you're going to be in single digits. And if you're going to be in 7%, 8% territory, then why wouldn't you have a stock that's ET, for instance, that gives you 7%? Why would you not do this? Right? Why would you not have Pfizer 7.6%? Right? Why not? So, you know, so that's it. So that's what we're talking about. Out of Fort Lauderdale is a lot cheaper. Oh yeah, I know, but that's only for Florida. You're right. Florida is cheaper, but again, most people aren't from South Florida. They're not. So they're landing in Miami. They're landing in Miami, landing in Orlando, landing in Fort Lauderdale to transfer over. So their fare is additional on top. Direct flights, they're few and far between, and all these air carriers are talking direct flights, but they're not for until 2025, 2026 season. They're not right now. So that doesn't help lower or reduce the rates. And furthermore, to go round trip, the taxes are roughly about $120, $130 round trip. Well, I'll put it this way. I don't know about Santo Domingo. Out of Punta Cana. The Punta Cana airport's expensive. It's like $70 coming in. And it's like, I'm sorry, was it coming in or coming out? Anyhow, it's like $70, I think it was coming in, and it's like 50 leaving, something like that. So therefore, that's why you can't do cheap airfare because they raised their rates, their taxes and stuff. So you can no longer do 150. Well, you can, but $150 round trip from the East Coast, forget about it. One a 75, 80, $85 each way, forget about it. Now you're going to be at 100 and probably 100 and something each way, 110 at least, 120 if you can find it, which you can't because the airfare is now 350 from ATL. Best case scenario. Otherwise, you're at 450. That's crazy right now. So now you're going to have a downturn, and we have an economy situation around the world where there's a downturn. All right, sorry to hear that. I don't understand. How can people get into an agreement with you, run like that? Why do they owe you? You provided them a service. Exactly. There's all kind of different deals, man. But all the deals in writing, in text forms, everything, and then they still go, crazy stuff. Always. Oh, yeah, I'll send you money. And then 2 weeks later, no money. 3 weeks later, no money. Call them back. Come on, man. What's happening? Oh, yeah. I'm like, okay, I can't do business with you guys. So this is why when with Larimar, when I said I need my money back last year, and they didn't want to give it back, par for the course, just like Punta Cana Realtors. When they didn't want to give the money back, then they said, okay, we're going to send you back your 8,000, whatever, right? Then they said they wired it. The wire didn't go through. I'm like, what are you talking about? How does a wire not go through? So now I go over to where it's wired from because I was on the island, but they didn't realize I was on the island. So I actually went to the bank. The bank goes, oh, no, we can't talk to you. Why it's not wired? I said, what do you mean? Then they tell me a number. They go, oh, it was 4,000. They said they made a mistake. I was like, you're damn right. It's supposed to be like 8,200 or something. So now with lawyers and everything, they told the lawyers that it's 8,000, 8,200, whatever it was. I said, okay, good. Then wire. Oh, no, it's the wrong amount. Then after I'm there going, okay, it's not wrong amount. Okay, I'll just come down and pick it up. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, the person that has to do it ain't here. I'm like, what? Okay, cool. So right then and there, you know something is wrong. So now I go to their office. And as soon as I walk to the office, there's a guy with a pistol on his hip. And I said, so you guys are used to ripping off people. Because that's the only reason you're going to have somebody up here with a firearm on their hip at your business office. Sure enough, girl comes out, starts talking. Oh, yeah, well, we did this and you didn't do. And here's a check for 4,000 something. I was like, paperwork says full 8,000 something. All this, call the attorneys. Attorney's like, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to fight it? I go, okay, so now I'm going to give you 3,000 and they owe me like 4 G's more. I don't see that's a zero sum game. It's like, I don't see how this helps. So that's why I walk out Punta Cana Realtors, Primavera developers who jack people by not adding their amenities at Primavera 2. So that's why I'm not going to believe them adding their amenities at any other of their Primaveras. So that's how that goes down. So everybody went the same way, basically. We have a 5% deal for real estate when I'm a broker. Next thing I know, people are like, oh, yeah, but it's 3%. Or no, it's not. This is our signed contract. This is our stuff. Now I got to go deal with it's always lawsuit city with these guys because they don't care. There's no threat. Lawsuits are meaningless. So they don't care. So that's why if I can't control the income coming to me directly, then I can't do business there. And so basically, I just determined for all these dudes that have been rip-off artists, from the guys when I was doing the music stuff to the guys when I was having to rent music equipment, rent speakers, all these dudes were saying crazy stuff. lighting. Dudes were saying stuff like Soleil's Beach, I was going to have it out there at first. So then I needed lighting. I needed some setups. The dude comes back, writes me a thing, and he goes, that'll be $12,000. I'm like, are you guys, what are you doing right now? No, it's not going to be, I'm not doing it then. This is what I'm dealing with in the background that I really didn't tell you guys about. You normally go via JetBlue or Spirit. I go Frontier. Out of Atlanta, I go Frontier. That's the cheapest price. Well, used to be. I haven't really checked it out, but until last week I checked it out. It was $358, best case scenario. And that's if you come on certain days. It's not like you can come on the 12th and leave like the 16th or something. So all them guys, man, I had to go round and round. I'm going to get speakers. It's a speaker set up for the concerts because I'm sitting there and these guys are going, oh, for 3 days, that's going to be $6,000 at $1,500 a day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm like, for speakers? So basically, everybody who comes there that does this is why you don't see concerts, you rarely see concerts in DR. Because all the people who are going to do concerts are generally off the island, unless they're Latin, of course. I'm talking about American artists who aren't Latin artists. They are charging, United States pricing, $75 or $50 or $100 or, VIP a couple thousand or something, right? For the tables. But people in DR, they can't afford it. So they're not coming. Meanwhile, the guys that are selling you it's the speakers and the equipment was needed, they're charging me American type money for the product. So when they're saying 6,000 a week, 6,000 for the 3 days, and I'm just like, that's $12,000, and you're giving me speakers for 12 grand, and they're like, oh yeah, we're throwing in the engineer. I'm like, okay, that's standard. It's your stuff. I mean, so that's when things start getting wiggy. So then when they say, now I need equipment, right? The DJ can't bring it on the plane. So we have this special DJ Pioneer, whatever it was. I got to have 3 mics. And then I got to have, 5 or 6 mics because the drummer has to have his, the keyboardist has his, the other keyboardist, 2 keyboards, special keyboards, by the way. Can't find them on the island. That's another thing. So now I'm listening to these guys that have equipment tell me, oh, that's going to be for Saturday night, that's going to cost you $1,000 to rent the equipment for 3 hours. All of them. But now I'm paying this guy $1,000. These guys, I was like, what the hell? Now I'm doing business deals in the background. So the business deals in the background says, okay, we'll give you the venue for free since you're selling projects for our stuff. Great. So that alleviates 3 or 4 or 5, 5,000 a weekend type of thing, right? So I'm thinking everything's good. So now I have a $5,000 deposit at the place. We leave. We have real estate deals. And so a week later, my friend calls up who played there, and he says, Eric, that place is awesome. We got to do it again. But this time we'll start promoting like right away. So we'll have like a 11-month runway. I said, hold on, man. Hold on a second. I just remembered these guys owe me I had to put down $5,000 for a bond at the venue, which was still sketchy. I was like, why? You have insurance. What are you talking about? This is an entertainment site. But anyhow, okay, fine. Here's 5 G's. Put it down. Now, a week later, my friend calls me and I say, hold on. Hold on. I got to check something. So now I said, I'll call you back tomorrow. I check and I send the guys and I said, hey, Why didn't you send me back my $5,000 bond? Nothing happened at the spot. Everything's kosher. They start this, oh, we have to calculate how much the venue made. I said, what? No, we don't. We already had what are you saying right now? You already said contract is no good. We're not even going by that. So now all of a sudden we are? And here's the worst part. The CEO of the corporation, I talked to him, 3 people. 3 of us are there. He co-signed and said, that's right, no paying for the venue. We'll change the contract, Eric, that night. Next day, I'm still in DR. I say, hey, man, I need you to change that contract. Dude's like, oh, man, I got to get back to my wife somewhere I don't know, in Europe. There seems to be an emergency. I'm going to have to leave and get on the plane, but I'll have somebody here do it. Okay, that's day 1. Day 2, when you leaving? Oh, it's not until tomorrow. I said, oh, good. I'll see you before you leave. I go to their office in the morning. Hey, man, did you get that contract change? Oh, no, man, I'm heading out to the airport right now. But we're good. You're going to change the contract, whatever. What do you? Okay, fine. I guess I'm going to find out who these guys are. Because I trust everybody. This is what I did. It was a test. So I said, all right, fine. Just make sure everything's fine. Okay. So now 5,000 plus about another 40. All of a sudden, I'm calling up going, okay, where's my $5,000? And by the way, I think you owe me like 30 G's on top of that or something like that, right? And so then they go, oh, yeah, but it was based on you selling this stuff. And I said, no, it wasn't. The project just came out. Nobody knew how much anybody's going to sell. So what are you talking about right now? I said, even the CEO was there and talked about it. So what? Get off, stop. So then they went with this narrative that acting like they didn't say anything right then and there, disrespect. I said, okay, man. Okay. They go, well, if you did, I said, listen to me very carefully. Why would I do anything else with you after you owe me $5,000? You really think I'm going to let you owe me 80 grand or 100 grand? Are you serious right now? And I paid for everything too. I was like, dudes, you're losing your mind right now. So I need my money. Otherwise, we're going to have issues. And as you guys know, there was going to be issues. So then I said, okay, I'll tell you what. If you guys want to go by the contract thing, okay, I'm going to lose money, thousands, tens of thousands, fine. In order for me not to get in hot water, because the wife is saying don't do stuff, people are saying, Eric, don't do stuff. I already called up the guys and said, we're going to come do stuff. So I said, okay, because I don't need anything. I'm too old, but all right, fine. They finally came to an agreement after 9 months. 9 months. So then I'm learning from these guys. Okay, they're doing it. Everybody that I did business with, every 100% of everybody. Any agreement in writing, any agreement by paper, any agreement by WhatsApp, you can see texts, they all reneged. Why? Because the money collected went to them. And then all of a sudden it's this bullshit. So after that, I said, nope. So I've been chopping off people one by one. And now I just found the last person I'm chopping off because there's another deal that I had for commission wise. And now all of a sudden I have 5% plus ITBIS. They're telling me, oh, it's 3%. I'm like, what are you talking about right now? Okay, you're cut off. So I cut off everybody because everybody I did business with is just scammers, dude. So it's not breaking my heart that I'm going to be chopping them off, not coming over there. Eric, I would have been pissed too. What do you mean? You're making me an offer with my own money. Exactly. How exactly does that dumb idea work? Hey, that's what they do over there, man. They're holding the money and then they want me to go get a lawyer. And they don't even care about that because basically I have to pay the lawyer. And then the court's not going to be for 3-6 months later. And then on that 3-6 months, that then's going to be another continuation from after the first event at the court. So they know the time frame. It's a year and a half later before we can even get into anything. But meanwhile, I got to pay a lawyer, and the lawyer is not $1,000. So this is why they're doing this. So everybody's skimming off from what they owe you, and then acting like we're going to be friends. No, we're not going to be friends. We're not. In some cases, we're not even going to be cordial. So that's what I had to tell my dad. I told my dad when he says, "Are you still going to DR?" And I said, yeah, as far as I know, this was like about 2 weeks ago. And he said, I told him, I said, Dad, I said, I don't know if it's a good idea if I go over there. He goes, what do you mean? I said, Dad, I'm a California kid. I'm not, I'm not who people may think I am. I said, the government knows, but people don't know. So I said, I don't think it's a good idea I go over there. I said, because if I run into 3 people, it's on site. I said, I can't even talk to them. It's on site we have a problem. If I see them by accident, I said, it does not matter where I'm at. We have a problem because that's a problem. Even though we agreed to the situation, I said, they're not coming out of their compound because if I see them dudes on site, we got problems. Any one of them. He's like, what? I said, just leave it at that, man. I said, I might not even be going because nobody signed up with the Punta Cana Investors Forum is probably the best thing. He's like, what? So now I'm not going. And actually, I won't be going back. Let's just put it that way. I have no reason to go back. Larimar has like I said, I don't know if it could be 15 G's, 18 G's, or 20 G's, whatever. It's no more than 20, I don't think. They could have 20 G's. That still hasn't been resolved. So now, of course, I got problems with them still to this day. And they're talking, nothing at all, running around. So yeah, man. So all of them are doing the same thing. Visit with your lawyer. Yeah, I do, man. But again, I can't, like right now, let's say 20 G's. But again, I'm going to court paying the lawyer $3,000, $2,500 for no freaking reason. So that's how we do it. Don't take a penny without a document in writing. Otherwise, they'll tell the court that you already got the money. Just make sure you print all the texts and emails. Exactly, man. But I'm not suing nobody. Because the way the law works, I wouldn't sue anybody in America either. It's the same thing, except it's worse over there because that's the system. The system is already corrupt. They already know what they're going to do. Just like right now, when the guys had to sue the developers in DR right now, there's a guy on a 2.5-year quest right now. He has documents showing that the developer went down and got a loan. His house, his villa inside Vista Cana, by the way, his villa, the guy went down, the developer went down and got a loan in the developer's name. The guy has receipts showing he paid the full amount for the villa. The judge still will see you in 6 months. The developer lies. I have all the documentation. The developer lies. Oh, yeah, well, no, that's not the dude has it in writing, literally. Stamped, signed by both parties. And he's continuing for 2.5 years. Had to pay his attorneys double digits in the meantime to add insult to injury. He even had insult to injury to go to that consumador, whatever they call it. I said, that don't work. That's an arbitrate. They don't do anything. And the developers aren't going to agree. So nothing happens there. He goes, yeah, I even went through that. That took away like 3-4 months. I said, well, and that, as he had an attorney, had to pay attorney fees. The dudes are going to arbitration literally with that pro-consumer place, whatever the hell it is. So all of this, everybody knows how the system is, and all developers are playing that game. And that's why all the developers are late. That's why they don't honor their contracts, because they know that they don't have to. So I'm not playing with these guys. It's that simple. What I mean by playing is I don't want to, I'm not going to do business. I'm just going to, I'll tell people how I feel about what's going to happen in the DR, which I already said. In case you guys are confused, I think there's going to be chaos in the world. America, Canada, EU zone, they're the consumer nations. If the consumer nations are having a problem, which we are because we're having tariff wars against each other, that means less people are going to be traveling on vacation. So the numbers bared it in February, and the numbers are probably going to bear it in March and April and May. And that is not a good thing for real estate. We always want if you're renting short term, you always want tourists. Now, right now, this week, Holy Week, it is going to be hotels are going to be 100% full, 99% full, all inclusive, all the hotels. Short-term rentals, on the other hand, you can go check it out right now and go to Airbnb and go look it up yourself and see what the numbers look like for this week. I'll be willing to bet you're still going to find stuff in Los Corrales, El Cordecito. You're still going to find stuff downtown. You're still going to find stuff all over. There's going to be thousands of units still available all over the place. And the prices will not be dynamic. In other words, since it's prime time for Holy Week, we used to charge $99. Now we're able to charge $140. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. I'm real sure it's not going to happen. Because just because the hotels have 99% occupancy or over occupied, over 100%, that does not mean that's good for short-term rental. Not in the DR, because they just send them to another hotel that does not have 100% occupancy. Because not all the hotels are going to be 100%. Some are going to be 98%. Some are going to be 99. Some are going to be 100. Like Hard Rock will probably be 100. Right? So there's going to be a few that's probably going to be close to 100%, but still close may not be 100. So they're able to say, hey, if you don't want to stay at ours, we'll get you over here at this one. They're not going to say go to an Airbnb, right? Or go to our sister property over here. Is that all right? So that's how they do. All right. So anyhow, now I gave you guys the story of why things have went with the DR, because I was there for 2 months, almost 3 months, quite frankly, last year. And I saw some stuff that I shouldn't have seen because I was actually trying to do business on the island with the blocks. I was doing business, several different entities that I'm dealing with, and everybody was all the same. Everybody on every entity. I go see a guy that's selling blocks that's in Punta Cana. I actually go see the guy and I just tell him straight up. I said, hey, man, to be honest with you, I'm just here to see what you're doing with the blocks, I just tell him because I don't feel right. I'm going to be your competition potential. So he didn't have no problem. He just said, well, man, this is what we do. This is how much the blocks are costing. This is how we make he showed me the setup, how they make it and everything. Dude took an hour and a half of his time. So I would have an idea on, if I'm doing the block business, what I could be doing. So for me, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, the way I looked at it is, I don't look at it as competition. I look at them like, I can't do the job. Then I need this guy. I need to hire this dude to do the job, and vice versa. That's the way I look at it. I'm thinking we're going to be partners, whether we're in competition somewhat, but somebody comes to me to get blocks or somebody comes to him to get blocks, I can deal with that. I can say, hey, man, I can't do this, but this guy can. So, or if I needed blocks, hey, man, I need some blocks. I'll buy them from you for this price because I know you got to make some money. So I'll pay, more than what it costs to make. And can we get a deal? That's what I would do. I don't look at everybody as competition. I look at people that I can work with. And if you don't want to work with me and say you're competition, okay, so be it. But that's fine with me. I'll just find somebody else that I'll work with. It doesn't really matter. But I was setting everything up so I get to feel how everybody was doing things. And then when this payment stuff was coming up and it just kept going and going, I was like, everybody's like this. So yeah, so I left tens of thousands of dollars in DR. It's crazy. But Now I don't do business there, and now I don't talk about them there as much as I used to help them out, right? With the ecosystem, the lawyers are getting paid, the developers are getting paid, the real estate guys are getting paid. Everybody was in the ecosystem because I was promoting it. I was talking, nice about it, just like the Gruber guy talks very nice about DR right now, but he's talking like a freaking what do you Homer. Homer. He's not. He doesn't want to talk about the bad. He doesn't want to talk about everything's fine. No, everything's not fine. No, everything's not fine. Nothing's fine. They always try to stick you up in everything. When I was doing a music event, the guy with the speaker says, what did he say? $1,000 was it a day or something? Or 500? I can't remember. Whatever it was, right? He tells me a number. They show up. They're unloading the speakers. All of a sudden, he says, "Hey, man, I got to talk to you about something." I'm like, "You got to talk to me about what?" We already talked about where you're putting the speakers and where they're going. I already sent you schematics because the band already sent schematics. And of course, we know what's coming. Oh, hey, man, it gonna have to cost you a little bit extra. Da 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 da. What are you talking about right now? Seriously? I don't think so. So then, of course, the threat comes. Well then, I need to get my guys and go. I was like, get your guys and go. This is what I'm dealing with on the spot. A few hours before, we got to do some testing for the sound checks. And this dude is sitting there late already by 1 hour, and then gets there and starts trying to jack me, trying to say I got to pay him some more money that we didn't agree to. And I'm sitting like, okay, well, you can go. And of course, the usual happens. Oh man, you gotta get this done, and you got the concerts later on the night. Da da da. You got to. No, I don't have to do anything. And in fact, this nonsense you're saying, man, you can just go. And then of course he says, okay, man, I'll just do what we said we're gonna do. I said exactly. Just do what you said you're gonna do, man. That's how I'm dealing with all these clowns the whole time. I never even talked about all this stuff. Tonight's the night. Maybe Friday night I'll get on some more. But all that crap is going on for everybody. I go try to get a poster because I was going to do business there at the El Dorado Town Hall. Think about this. All these people that are doing excursions, right? Talk about a setup for promotion, right? All these excursion companies, what are they doing? Oh, yeah, go over here, do this buggy ride, do this paraglide, do this, whatever. Go over here to the island. But I'm sitting there thinking, damn, you guys got posters on the wall. You guys don't promote real estate or anything? They're just like, no, man, we just do this. I'm like, how many people you have coming through here every day? He's like, oh, man, we got like a dozen that show up at 6 a.m. We got like another dozen that show up at whatever. He starts giving me these times. I'm like, so are you saying like 50, 60 people a day? I said, yeah. I said, but where are they staying at? He goes, well, we go pick up people. They're staying at hotels. Some people are staying at Airbnbs. Da, da, da. I'm like, to me, those are potential investors. He's like, yeah. I said, okay, I'm going to put up I got to get can I put a poster here with the sales stuff at these locations in your office? And on your TV, you run a loop with all the promotions for all the stuff. He agrees. This guy seems kind of cool. So I'm sitting there like, all right, okay, now I'm going to start. So I'm setting up a network, right? I'm thinking, okay, this is one. He has another office somewhere else. I'm like, that's two. I've talked to like 3 or 4 places. So I was going to have this whole setup. So when people are going in, sitting in their place, and they're waiting for their stuff, they can see the loop. I'm thinking, okay, 1 or 2 people I don't even care if it's every week. Why? Because we had an agreement where he doesn't get any money up front unless somebody buys something, so we're good. So he goes, hey man, in order to make these boards, we got to go down to you got to go down to this shop to make it. The like little signs, they're like a poster size almost, 2 feet by 3 feet, something like that. Some were bigger because the wall was more room. Next thing I know, I'm sitting there like, okay, man. So he said, call me and I'll tell you where it is, whatever. The next day I call him. He says, oh, I got to go with you. I'm like, what do you mean you got to go with? You told me yesterday it was over here in Fruisa, and you gave me the guy's stuff, and you said that you're gonna tell me where it is and go tomorrow. Oh no, I got to go with you because he knows me, and then I'll get you this great price, yada yada yada. I'm like, dude, I ain't going with you, no. I'm not going with you. I was like, you told me that was the price of this stuff. Now all of a sudden you're telling me you got to go with me for what? So I'm already suspecting at this point, because of all the other shenanigans going on, I have to cut this off. I'm like, dude, that ain't happening. You can forget about it. Forget about everything we talked about. In fact, I just went to everybody and said, you know what? I don't want to deal with none of you guys. Forget about it. In fact, none of this ever existed. Don't even think about it. Maybe somebody else, you can promote it to somebody else. Maybe they'll do it. But as far as me doing any business with any of you guys, I'm not doing no business no more. That's how it all started. That's how it started in May of 2024. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up. 2 hours and 11 minutes. I want to thank everybody for being here. I love you guys very much. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, ladies and gentlemen, because that third world mentality, crabs in a bucket, that's what's here in America. And it's going around the world because it's getting harder and harder for citizens, no matter where they are, to survive. So therefore, they're going to be skimping and figuring out ways to do shortcuts most of the time. But we don't want to be in that vein. We want to be able to make money a different way. And that different way is where you control the asset, control the revenues coming in. You're going to have to pay attention these days to whoever your inner circle is. And just because they're your friends for life doesn't mean they're going to be your friend for life. Even if you've been friends for 30, 40 years, does not mean that they're going to do right by the economic situation. So just keep all that in mind. I may sound paranoid, but the fact of the matter is when there's a large swath of the population that is living paycheck to paycheck, some of those people start looking for shortcuts and trying to figure out some other way of doing something. And you just never know who it is because you never know the pressures that another person has. So just stay safe out here. Everybody, a lot of people under stress, and just try to keep your own composure. Make sure you don't get into any altercations or anything that's going to lead you down the wrong path. And with all that said, just make sure no matter what happens, you keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.